On Friday, we got a little bit of an update on Starfield. It's been a while since we've heard anything major. I would personally say that the last major thing we heard was the Q&A video with Todd Howard, where he showed off the dialogue in Starfield, which we covered recently, but that was around a month ago now, and we haven't really seen anything since then. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see any new footage, but we did get a new interview with Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, where he talked a lot about Starfield. I'm not going to waste any time and just get straight into it, so do me a favour and drop the video a like for me now. But Phil did an interview on Friday, I believe it might have been Thursday night, talking about Starfield and why it was delayed. Real quick, just let me say I apologise if the text looks a little bit weird on the screen. It was really difficult for me to crop the exact parts of the interview that we're going to talk about, but anyway, this is what he had to say. We have experience with shipping games too early, but in hindsight, when you look at a game like Starfield, which has taken so long and so much investment in new IP from the team, the decision to give the team, that of course being Bethesda Game Studios, the time to build the game that they feel they should be building is just the right thing to do. And before we move on to the next part of the interview, I just have to say that I completely agree with this. How many times have we played a Bethesda Game Studios game, heard about some of the cut content and just wished that it was in the base game? Things like the Skyrim Civil War questline come to mind. It was supposed to be way more in depth than it is. We were going to be able to choose where we attack, when we attack, build small teams inside of an army, create attack plans, rise through the ranks properly, and because they didn't have enough time to finish it, Bethesda had to really simplify the Civil War questline. Obviously that is just one good example, but I'm really happy to hear Phil Spencer talk about Starfield like this, knowing that things still need to be added, fixed, updated, and whatever else, but let's get on to the next part of the interview. He goes on to say Starfield and Redfall, which are our first big Xbox games with Bethesda owner ZeniMax coming into the team. I just wanted to make sure those teams felt like they had the support they could get from Xbox. Maybe some of the benefit of being part of a larger organisation that has other revenue streams and other things going on that could be helpful. And yeah, this obviously does make a lot of sense. You've just purchased this company, you want them to feel safe and sort of at home in a way. The last thing you want to do is upset all of the workers in their very first game development cycle with you. Another thing that I want to point out, and I feel like is important to point out, is that Starfield will be one of the biggest, if not the biggest game of Xbox next year. There isn't any denying that. Bethesda Game Studios games are popular year after year after year. I mean, if you look at the charts and the player base, Skyrim easily has over 50,000 players every month, which is insane for a decade plus old game. And even their other games that haven't even been remastered, such as Fallout 4, nearly 8 years old after its release, still has 20,000 plus players on Steam alone every month, not even including Xbox and PlayStation players. So getting Starfield right has to be a massive priority for Xbox. They can't afford for it to be bad. It will be a massive seller for them. And I think that they know this, and it definitely sounds like they do. And as a big Bethesda fan and a consumer, this all feels really good to hear. And I think in a way it feels so good to hear this because it's starting to sound like Starfield wasn't delayed because it was a mess, but it was delayed just to fix some of the smaller things and finish the extra stuff. Now of course they could just be lying through their teeth. I mean, Phil Spencer isn't going to come out and say, oh yeah dude, this game fucking sucks, we had to delay it, right? But this all sounds very positive, at least to me. Now Phil does also go on to say that it was the right decision to delay Starfield and Redfall, which yeah, I mean it absolutely was, there's no denying that. If the game isn't ready to come out, you don't put it out, it's as simple as that. I may feel a little bit more strongly than most about this particular subject, but I always go back to Cyberpunk 2077 and Fallout 76. CD Projekt Red and Bethesda straight up lied to their fans, to their players and the consumers, and sold a game that they 100% knew wasn't finished. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. Delaying Starfield was absolutely the correct thing to do if it wasn't finished. It was the right choice, and I don't think that anybody with any common sense would deny that. And I also really want to say, because I feel like people don't talk about this enough, is that it is a massive decision to delay a video game, because as we've seen literally with Starfield, it makes people lose hope, it makes them lose faith in the game. I get enough comments on my own channel saying, well, Starfield's gonna suck anyway. Like, come on dude, you haven't even given it a chance, you know? And it affects everything. Because of Starfield's delay, Elder Scrolls 6 will come out later because it would have been pushed back in the development cycle now. Same thing goes with Fallout 5. Fallout 5 will now come out later, and yeah, obviously these games weren't going to release anytime soon, they weren't going to release for years yet, but either way, you get my point. It isn't some quick decision to delay a game. You know, it's not like someone at Microsoft just woke up one day and said, hey, I'm going to delay Redfall and Starfield. As I've said before, somebody from Xbox/Microsoft went to Bethesda Game Studios, and it was 2 weeks later that the game was announced as being delayed. You all know, at least if you subscribe to me and watch me regularly or whatever, that I believe that this is what delayed Starfield. I believe that this person, whoever it was, went to Bethesda to see how the games were coming and reported back, and Microsoft thought about it for a couple of weeks and then decided to delay, and then maybe the next day or so, maybe that night even, we got the announcement. But that is pretty much everything that you need to know about this interview. But real quick, I want to shout out the Discord for bringing this interview to my attention, because I didn't even know it happened until like 2 AM on Friday night. So thank you guys all for that. And I also just want to do a quick shout out to everyone who is on the Discord. Recently, you've all been super supportive of each other in our mental health channel, and it makes me feel so good to see you all helping each other, giving out advice and whatnot. I know it's kind of sappy, but it really does warm my heart to see how great you all are to each other over there. So big shout out to everyone on the Discord for how kind and sweet you've all been. And yes, of course, our Discord is currently open if you are looking to join. It is a great place to talk about Starfield and speculate with me and plenty of other games, recommend video ideas to me, and lots of other stuff. But you know, if you do want to join, the link is in the pinned comment below and the description below. But anyway, that is going to do it for me today. Please do drop the video a like for me if you haven't already, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing if you are looking for a place to stay up to date on Starfield news, leaks, discussions, speculation, and so much other Bethesda focused content. We're also really close to 2,000 subscribers now, so if you do subscribe, thank you so much for the support, and as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next one.